But there or in the outside?
Just here.
Okay.
Outside the church.
Okay. Can you try? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's a solution. If the movie, the spinning wheels are too much, right? Then we do just the moon by turning on just the moon from the house lights, not the house lights, but the stage lights. We can make a moon, can't we?
I think so. Yeah, we have to talk with this.
Now, Thomas is coming in on another. He's not on these projectors.
No,
right?
he's on the projector on the stage.
Right, and it's just on the back.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
But that projector, since you didn't want Thomas gigantic, it's framed so that Thomas is about his height. So it's not going to fill up the screen. But
Good.
Yeah.
We don't want it to fill up.
American.
We want it to be about the same
yes.
size as she is.
Yeah.
And he's bigger than she
The thing is, I think I have one spare there. But it's a plug that you need
That-
only
even
a
that
plug?
coming up so
Or you need
fast.
a transformer to transform it, right?
is okay.
Okay. I
But
can
the
help you. I
purple thing
can
is
go
just
there.
insane. It's so rigid and
but
so
see,
repetitive.
to change those things last minute on your whim isn't that easy.
Well, it doesn't have to be easy, it just has to be done. But it would be nice with just the moon and just Thomas and Fiore. Yeah.
Method of improvisation? Just listening and responding, I guess, to what else is going on, who else you're playing with, and then the structure of the music kind of creates itself, and so responding to the things that came just before, and then naturally ending up at a different place. So I guess that would be the method. It's pretty loose, and really just depends on who else I'm playing with. I guess the more you play, then you're always kind of training for it. You know, it's kind of by being in the situation, you become the more often you're in that situation of having to respond quickly to other things happening around you. That's I think the best training is just the doing. Just sitting at home and practicing. The mechanics is fine and good, but I think it's a different part of your brain, or not even your brain, whatever that is, that sort of to be instantly create structure and movement in something is not just about the rudiments and stuff. So training is just doing.
So with the idea of the workshop, I have this piece which exists already, but basically it exists as a text piece and not as a sort of composition piece. Generally, it's put up in a space on a gallery wall. It's text, vinyl text, and it describes the relationship between these two sort of like little presentations here. Like there's 7 pop songs here and there's 7 pop songs here. On this side, the thing is all the songs start on the chord or note A. And on this side, all the songs start or end on the note B. No, they end on the note B, sorry. And so as a proposal for a work which exists on the wall, it describes how you might start all these songs at the same point, and you have this sort of sonorous, perfect harmonic A from all the songs, and then it kind of descends into a bit of madness as all the songs are like mixed together. They fade out, and then at the same point, the B's are sort of faded in. Well, not faded in, but they start sort of, they are timed all to end at the same point. And so you get this sonorous A, a bit of mess, and then a sonorous B at the very end. And that all works kind of fine on paper, you know. If I put this, I've shown this a few times in the gallery wall, and I can explain it to people, and it's fine. You can kind of imagine an A, a bit of a mess, and then B, it's quite harmonic. And then I always wondered, you know, although I call it like a proposal for DJs and musicians, I've never actually performed it. And so when approached with the idea of the workshop, I thought it was a chance to try it. So there's myself, and we have 7 other participants, and everyone takes a pair of songs where they begin on an A and they begin on an B. Now it's been really super interesting because it's been slightly changed in the process of the workshop. Because initially I imagined that, it would work with everything starting on A, all these songs go on, then we fade in the Bs, and then it stops the B. But it's all about this concept of the work which is comfortable on the wall, how it kind of transcends into a sort of public performance or an audio work that you might listen to. It works on the wall, but when we did it into an actual performance, it was a bit, I don't know, uncomfortable, or it wasn't so harmonic as we might have thought. So we played around with it a bit, and we found a solution, which we'll perform soon. Shall I tell you the solution? Basically, we have taken little parts of the songs and we're looping them. So, say one of the participants is starting with this telegram sound. We've looped a little bit of that for the length of song, which is telegram sound lasts for 3 minutes 44. So we loop that for 3 minutes 44, and then they will bring in their appropriate B song, which I don't know whatever that is, but that. Then they'll loop a part of that till the end of the performance. Which I should have said earlier, but the performance lasts for as long as it lasts for as long as it has to, because these the 2 timings of an A and a B song, the longest was 9 minutes 16. So that's how long the thing is going to last. But then recently, just a few minutes ago when we were talking about this and we were pretty happy with how it all turned out, I was happy with how it had turned out, and I felt comfortable, and then my mind began to work a little bit more, and I thought about, how great it is here to be next to a record shop. And the fact that this workshop is taking place because the record shop is here and because there's a gallery here and we're here because of these reasons, that I should kind of incorporate that in some ways.
So it's kind of complicated, but we could probably just work on these first yellow. Did everybody see the yellow cards? They're called mouth cues. This is pool. You raise your hand. I point to you, and you go mouth 1. When this card comes down, a change happens. Nothing happens until it comes down and hits the table. That's called a downbeat. When it's here, it's just get ready to do something. When it's here, do it. Right? Things only happen on downbeats. So this card basically just means change, something changes. So when this card is held up, people who are not playing may come in, may play anything you want on the downbeat. People who are already playing, when this card comes down, you can either stop or you can change radically what you're playing. That's it. Make sure that you are listening and respond appropriately, however that is. But at the same time, you can totally not listen to, you're totally free to do whatever the fuck you want. It's totally up to you. That's the beauty of the piece. So, you can, sometimes you can listen and to who you're playing with, or you don't have to. It's up to you.
Volume of space, not just the distance, the volume. I came in, I think it was February and March, taught a solo called Conquest to the whole group of 8. I coached them each in their solo performance of Conquest, and with the understanding that this was in March, February, they would practice the piece every single day. I gave them all the tools for practicing it with the intention of their adaptation of the material they learned from me would arise through their daily performance, not rehearsal, their daily performance of this sequence of material, which I call Conquest.
Et c'est vraiment pratiquer tous les jours, 5 jours par semaine. Et après ça, parce que tu vas pratiquer tous les jours, tu vas générer ta propre adaptation. Et ça, vraiment, c'est un contrat. Tu ne peux pas montrer en public avant 3 mois. Parce que ça nécessite un travail d'incorporation, un travail d'auto-réflexion et de mise au travail. Quand Déborah transmet son solo, le solo, pratiquement, il n'est pas forcément créé par elle-même. Il n'a jamais été montré sur un plateau, elle n'a pas de costume, c'est une matière presque de solo. Donc du coup, eux, ils doivent en faire un projet aussi performatif, et donc faire des choix de lumière, peut-être de décor, peut-être de costume, de musique, puisque dans le principe de Déborah, on peut, une fois qu'on a le score, on peut ajouter des choses performativement parlant, au sens musique, décor, costume, mais on ne peut pas ajouter des choses chorégraphiquement parlant. On peut en retirer par contre.
We are not telling you that this is the best way to improvise music. We're just presenting one of the possibility. Because I mean, actually, my idea of playing music is this is not for enjoy.
I recognize what you said now, that that's difficult thing to fit with the others we don't know, and sometimes it's not easy. I experienced that, but for me, music is joy. is to be excited with and to share that, and now I didn't feel that. It's not that it has to be like that always, and sometimes I enjoy to play really smooth and with lots of silence and space. But in this moment we played, I felt that we didn't went anywhere.
Also to understand how I can use your sound on my board, because I have this, but I really don't know how it works. I have sound here, but it's not. But sound input. I have a sound input, but I'm not using.
For example, when I made some
kind of.
No.
And then it happened.
No, it was me. It was me. No,
Generated in your machine.
It was because it was this.
Already. So that was coincidence.
Yeah, it was a coincidence. It was this actually, not this. But I was trying to see if I could put more of the sound on the memory of slides.
You don't have I have.
Yeah.
Because it's quite when you see it, it's quite a lot.
But normally I was like this, or maybe I had closed eyes, so I have to be more aware of right.
But the other question is, I mean, as we have all not really experienced to put light and sound together, the question is, maybe we should just try, or we just be aware of how we can combine it.
And I also wish to put our sound in his memory as well, because he wants to hear more from us.
And I think also you are expecting me to be a musician, and I'm not a musician.
No.
Interesting thing an improviser can do is just to mimic what somebody else has just done. So let's see if we can eliminate that altogether.
Terry Riley has a reputation, especially in the early period in the 60s, of doing performances that would last all night, 8 hours, with people who would come and eat and sleep and listen to the music. And I had this desire to do a long version. So it will be in the evening as the sun, we hope, sets, and it changes from day to night. And artificial light will come and light the tennis courts, which is a very nice sight.
sound.
Yeah.
And I also make silence.
Yeah.
And I make silence so that you can listen. And that's a very important part of the work that I do. And so I'm here to make sound and I'm here to make silence. So that then you have space around all of that. Because there's no silence, there's no sound without space, and there's no space without sound and silence.
Here, melancholy.
I think it will be nice
if
we have like this our last section, like which is like disappear, and then we have perhaps just a section about, I don't know what's going to be created as an image, but after just only sound and that no more body, and
really?
just like something which is like going.
Okay, like shimmering away.
What?
Shimmer.
Yes, exactly. En fait, là, ça faisait que avancer.
Et ça, c'était
Mais c'était autre chose. Du coup, on n'avait pas ce...
C'est ça qui fait le robot, c'est ça?
Ouais, ça faisait un peu du, tu vois, tac, 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 hop.
Donc, je sais pas un peu...
Je pense qu'il y a des trucs aussi, quand ça monte, hop, ça revient vraiment en arrière, en fait, il y a ce truc. Mais j'aime beaucoup quand ça monte, là. Il faut que tu fasses durer un petit peu.
Je pense que là-bas...
Danseur turc sur plaque chauffante. Oui, il y a un truc de... Quand tu montes, tu veux dire. Mais il y a, en tout cas, il y a un truc spatial qui change. So you stay, hey, and then I come just for the 5 minutes at the end.
Bon, ça continue, je sais pas, c'est à cause de balance parfois, ça fait que les autres retournent. Et ça, bon, je ne veux pas faire ça, je vais dans la même direction toujours, mais ça n'aide pas non plus.
Ce qui t'aide pas, c'est de retwister.
Oui, on va faire. On sort, je sais pas. Et hop, donc par exemple ici, ça donne envie d'aller de l'autre côté parce que. Mais fais-le. Et ouais. Mais dans le mouvement comme ça que je pousse pour. Parce que. Merde!
Oui, mais tu vois, si ça continue à être sur... Si tu vois, tu te retrouves dans un truc comme ça, c'est encore un autre cercle.
It's going to be Matmos.
Donc c'est le gros cercle qui arrive.
Oui, c'est que d'un coup, c'est un cercle qui en fait recréer un autre. Je pense que c'est bon. Ok. Good job, guys. Bon trabalho. Lio. Rapaz.
When I was invited to write this piece, collaboration with Chris and Zina, I was super excited. But then it became, it's a real challenge, but it is a real challenge to write for anyone, especially this piece, because it became this, more I looked at what the piece should be, it became this monster of a contradiction, this big beast of contradiction where, how do you write something for improv? How do you write something that can influence the performers, but not too much that it stops improv? How do you keep the platform open? And I looked at this for a long time, trying to find different little motifs that might work amongst them. Also, to step in, to create some, perhaps, I don't know, little, not limitations on the piece, but to provide some motifs which would be like a specific set or something within the work. And so, something like repetition, the idea of repetition within improv, another sort of contradiction. But, I was thinking, how would it work within improv? So with these things in mind, I then came across this score. Sorry, not a score, but I came across an interview with the American composer Frederick Rzewski, who has quite a lot of experience in writing and performing improv music. He said that there comes a point when the score is thrown away, and it's really stuck in my mind. And for days I thought there comes a point when the score is thrown away. Yeah, that's what happens in improv. And so I went into my studio and sort of acted out this little scenario. So literally, I got a waste paper basket, placed it in the middle of my studio. I stood to the side, took a piece of A4 paper, rolled it up, and tried to throw it into the waste paper basket. And over a period of 20 minutes, I noted the times when I hit the mark. And then basically I've come to Chris and Zena with these times, and they have molded them and been very accommodating with these times to create the score, which is that these times are when the score is thrown away, the score is discarded, therefore there's some shift or there's an event. And these shifts and events, Chris and Zena have incorporated them into their piece.